And we're joined by Sergeant Greg Woodcox. Here we are on Leon Avenue. Now, we saw how all of the people who were camped out right on the sidewalk all got moved away. I just wanted to check in with you to find out how it's been since. How was Leon Avenue, after that?
Well, it's been better, but we've noticed an increase in the last 2 or 3 weeks of more people as the weather's got better. There's definitely more people sleeping rough at night. And more people on the street than we've seen in the preceding couple months. And that's even before some of these winter shelters are due to close. So we've definitely seen an increase in the last couple of weeks for sure.
So we'll get to those places that will be closing, we hear, soon. But in the meantime, though, have people been creeping back into the downtown, finding little places here and there?
Definitely, yes. And during the night shifts and days when I work, I find people in alleyways, behind buildings, basically every nook and cranny that they can take shelter from the weather. They tend to follow the rules in terms of not camping on Leon Avenue. Like the 200 block and 400 block of Leon are relatively good at night in terms of people sleeping overnight, but I've noticed an increase in the people, around buildings down in the downtown core, or, spots that they can protect themselves from the weather. They're trying to find spots out of the downtown core because I think they're, used to enforcement. They know they're going to be moved around, so they might as well find somewhere that basically, if nobody sees them, nobody hears them, nobody deals with them, right?
Yeah. And you have to use some discretion. I take it technically, if they want to overnight camp outside, they're supposed to be at one of those designated spots. But if somebody doesn't have a tent and they're just wrapped up somewhere, and you're not necessarily busting them up.
No, and you got to use discretion. I'm a human being. If somebody's on the street and they're hurt and they have nowhere place to go and they're not setting up in a boat or a campsite, you kind of got to use your discretion. Most of the people go to an alleyway or something like that, so they know that the police won't bother them, and they're kind of be left alone, whether it's behind an abandoned building or it's behind some building downtown. That's what they tend to do, behind electrical boxes. But we've definitely seen an increase in the last couple of weeks for sure, due to the weather, I think.
And then at the end of March, I guess, some of these wintertime temporary shelters are supposed to close up. How do you see that playing out?
I'm kind of concerned about that because, frankly, we have enough people down here during the course of the day and the night that are just basically loitering. And, in the numbers anywhere from 20 to 50 people. So, with the increase that may bring in terms of shelters closing, we're talking that some of these shelters that house like 40 people, and if they close, they really have nowhere to go because the shelters down here, the Cornerstone and the Gospel Mission, are already full. So the only other option is to go to the street or find somewhere to camp that's safe.
So you're busy now and expecting to get busier.
Absolutely, and that's the same thing that kind of occurs every year when the weather gets better. People tend to actually, frankly, don't mind to stay outside because they're not so concerned about the elements, the weather, the cold weather, the snow, and I think they're content with staying outside when it's nicer, and I definitely will see an increase down here in the spring and the summer for sure.
Great. Sergeant Woodcox, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching Kelowna Now.